Oh, look, I'm Rogue from the X-Men movie. I'm gonna totally absorb all your powers. Ooh. First up is Amazing Spider-Man 547, which is the second part of the Brand New Day storyline. So here it is. This issue has a lot of action in it. If you've read the last issue, Peter Parker was mostly in his civilian outfit. Not a lot of Spidey action or real Spidey action. There is some sort of Spider-Man imposter roaming about. But a lot of action here. Story opens up, spoiler alert, with Peter giving the old kiss of life to J. Jonah Jameson. I'm sure much to both characters' horror. If you remember from the last issue, Peter was giving the smoochies to the Girls Gone Wild female. So this is sort of a counterpart to that. J. Jonah Jameson last issue had a heart attack, so Peter basically saves his life. And then Peter is convinced to go back in costume as Spider-Man to take some photos of himself as Spider-Man to give to the Daily Bugle and save the paper because it's in danger of being bankrupt or bought out or something. So he does that. What happens next? Yada yada yada, yada yada yada. J. Jonah Jameson's wife decides to sell off their shares of the Daily Bugle anyhow, so basically I think that the Bugle is out of J. Jonah's hands from this point on. There's a new villain afoot called Mr. Negative. You can see he looks like a photo negative. He's after he has some strange Lemurian tablet. Wants to take over the world, all that. And this is a cute sequence. This is Aunt May. She's looking in Peter's bedroom and, kind of saying, oh, Peter acts like such a child, etc., etc. Why can't he ever grow up? He's such a slacker. Nag, nag, nag. I think Peter was better off with Mary Jane. Still married, other than putting up with this. But that's just me. I don't know. I like Aunt May. I'm not against Aunt May, and et cetera, et cetera. So that's pretty much it. It's a book with a lot of action, and remember, it comes out weekly. So next week you get another chapter, Amazing Spider-Man. Where's that button? Oh, there it is. Okay, on to the next comic. New issue of Robin is the next book I'm going to talk about. It's Robin 170, and it has a new team of Chuck Dixon, who used to write, I guess, Robin for a while back. It's kind of like a classic Robin writer, and Chris Batista, which you may remember from, let's see, he did a bunch of stuff. It's not coming to me. He did Legion most recently, and he's done a bunch of really cool stuff. Really cool writer, artist, or rather, really cool person. So, I was like, let me give this a chance. The big thing about Robin 170 is they have a new character called Violet. You can see here. Here's some more of her. And we're wondering, is Violet really this character spoiler who, died and caused all this controversy? Some people felt that Violet didn't, Violet, spoiler, who may or may not be Violet, spoiler, became like the first real female Robin. I mean, there was a female Robin from Frank Miller's Dark Knight, but she was really supposed to be the first female in continuity Robin. And she died, and then Batman never gave her a costume tribute, like a tribute in his Batcave. And so a lot of, especially female comic book fans, were angry because they were like, Jason Todd, this former Robin who died, got a trophy tribute case in the Batcave, and why didn't spoiler get one? So now the big question is this new chick, Violet, who's like a vigilante, is she really spoiler? So we're going to find out. One thing that's rather funny in this issue is that there's a bad guy here, like some thug gangster guy. And he looks just like DC VP Dan DiDio, which I don't, people at YouTube may have not heard of him. I'm sure readers of my blog have heard of him and know what he looks like, but it's just really funny because it looks just like him, and I wonder. Some cool parts in here. For a long time in, I guess, at DC Comics and also just, DC in interviews, they kind of like didn't recognize this whole scandal about Spoiler not getting a tribute in the Batcave, the female Robin not being recognized. But actually in this issue, something very important happens. It's very minor and subtle, but I will show it to you. Spoilers. As you can see here, Tim Drake, who is the current Robin, he kind of says, hey, Spoiler, whose real name was Stephanie, never got a tribute in the Batcave. So you see it here. It's actually been admitted by writer Chuck Dixon that, hey, something's not cool here. So I thought that was rather cool. The book itself, this new team, I find it very reader-friendly, and I especially find it very reader-friendly in terms of teenagers. I think teenagers would like this book a lot. I think the art's really beautiful, and, Chuck Dixon, for better or for worse, whatever people say, I think is a really solid writer. So I think he brings some solid stuff to Robin, and I will pick up another issue of this book. And is Violet really Spoiler? I think it's going to be a thing like, if you remember in Batman Hush, where it's like, is Hush really Jason Todd? No, but you don't find that out until you've bought 8 or 9 issues. If you notice, I don't tend to review anymore any comics that are really awful. And I do this because I try to buy comics that are good, because I am poor and I can only buy comics that are good for the most part. I will try comics that I don't know if they're good or bad, but as time goes on and as comics start getting a little bit more expensive, I find it harder to buy bad comics. Though I want to say to the comic book companies out there, if they would like to send me comics or send me their bad comics, I could review them. That way I could buy myself good comics, and you could send me the bad comics, and then I could review both the good and bad comics. So comic companies, if you're listening, I am totally open to this arrangement.